typically what you think in a school is like, well, kids, let's do math now. Battle of the Brains is way different. You're like, we have to make a design for our project. We have to write this for our project. We have to do this and that. We have to have a choreographer. We had project managers, 2 choreographers, 3 proposal writers, 2 development designers, like 4 material managers. It was just crazy. And if my mom watches this video, it's going to be funny. We balayaged them. It's like whenever you mix them or do it free-handedly. So we kind of, well, color melting would be better because you mix them together.
What is it that you're...
frames.
Oh, and what are you, time frames of what?
Time frames of the blocks that we did. We didn't say, well, we're going to do this as a whole. We're not going to do this as a whole. Everyone split up and we all worked together, and then people were coming this way and then that way and everywhere.
So Battle of the Brains is this big competition where different teams come up with an exhibit idea and present it through a proposal and a video to hopefully be chosen to actually get their design implemented into Science City. So this year the challenge was going outside, so they were working on designing the first outside exhibit for Science City.
Kind of, we're all collaborating, we're all in a team. There's never really independent work. It's so fun because you get to work with other people and you just make this huge and it's really cool. I really like it.
It's all student-led mostly.
Yeah. And there was a little bit of teachers, but really it was just teachers supporting us.
It's also the fact that there aren't teachers telling us what to do. Like I said, it's student-led, so this won't be your assignment for today is all right, students, what do you know you need to get done? Because that's what was happening. And even the managers, Abigail and Miko, they were being in charge of that. They were like, all right, so does everyone know what they need to get done? And then we were, yeah. So we all got into it.
We talked about assigning roles to the kids and knew that wouldn't work at all. That instead what we did was we put the different roles out there and had them sign up for whichever one they wanted to work on, and then had them go out and find out what the job entailed, and so they had to write that up and send that to us and then tell us why they thought they were a good fit. The bottom line with that was also letting them know that there might be more than one person that wanted that particular job, and so they had to be okay with us selecting from that point. But I think it made it easier because most were able to get the jobs that they wanted. I think it makes a difference. They come in already wanting to do that. It's not something we had to sell.
In a classroom, you're normally all working like on the same thing. But with this, everybody had different roles and different parts, so we were all able to like work collaboratively, but still like be independent at times.
I was learning a lot about writing. I helped a lot. I helped a bit with writing the proposal because you have to create a proposal in order to make an exhibit. And I also helped a lot with the 3D prototype that we made, and it was a lot fun to make, and I worked pretty hard on it.
So what things did you learn about writing?
I learned a lot about how I needed to be really specific, and I needed to make sure I say the right thing in order to catch the judge's eye and make them more, to make the proposal more emphasized, and so that they could kind of be dragged to our exhibit.
There was a lot about writing because everybody was writing, and a lot of the proposal writers, people that were working on the submission form, had to be as descriptive and had to be really precise. Like they couldn't just be like, hello, this is Battle of Brains and we're making an exhibit. They had to be really precise as to what we're going to do.
How did you know what size to make everything?
Some from the 3D model that some of the sketchers were doing. So Donovan and Jorge, they're kind of telling me that stuff, and then I was tinkering around with that, figuring out how to build it with those dimensions.
I was the materials manager, so I had to find the materials for what we made. It was kind of hard because we had to find a specific size and make sure it all fit in the space that we had. So we had to measure.
Before we actually started doing our jobs, the main thing that we had everyone do is research. So they've decided that they wanted to do this really great project about landforms. Well, before they can start really designing what they're going to do, they have to know what they're working with. So we formulated 5 or 6 main idea questions and split kids off into teams, like 1 team per landform.
Okay.
And so they were responsible for doing all the research necessary and answering those questions about each landform. They also we allowed them to go find pictures of ideas that could represent them.
Yeah, how did you scaffold the research?
So basically, we scaffolded it in a way. We had team leaders for each research team who sort of kind of helped guide. And then we had our project managers and the leaders ourselves. What we would do is we did all of this on a Google Doc. So as they were typing and writing, we would ask follow-up questions to help them dig a little bit deeper, because a lot of them were not specific enough, or maybe they weren't using great resources, so we helped them find resources to use if they were struggling with that.
So this is really fascinating to me because it sounds like you provided a just-in-time learning experience for kids rather than like a just-in-case learning experience. And what I mean by that is, as kids needed skills, you help them develop them, as opposed to, here's a list of skills we need, let's develop them, and then maybe you'll need them.
Right. And I think because of that, we didn't feel like we wasted any time on things that weren't necessary, but I think more importantly, the kids realized in the moment that they were struggling with something and maybe they did need scaffolding. And that didn't always come from myself or the other leader. It came from student leadership a lot of times. So I think they really saw the purpose for why they needed these skills. For example, in order to write a proposal about and design this exhibit, we have to be able to research what it should look like and what should be happening inside a volcano in order to do that.
Yeah. How did you assess their progress throughout this project?
Well, we used Google Docs, and so they had to send that to us at the end of the day, and there were questions that we always ask at the end of the day. We started out with goals. We started out with exactly what they needed to accomplish in that setting, and then at the end of the day, the managers then took over in that regard and made sure they went around and touched base with everybody. And if somebody wasn't working, which was rarely the case, either they took care of it or they come back to us and talk to us about it. But the questions were, how much did you get done today? Was there anything you didn't get to finish, and what kept you from doing that? And so they had to answer those kinds of questions, and then plus send the work to us. So we had to take a look at it every night, and then the managers were editing as the process continued. So we couldn't leave that to chance at all. We didn't have enough time. We had deadlines that were closing in, so we had to make sure the work was done.
I think that the process is pretty important because in real life you're going to have to probably go through processes like that, and it could help in the future when you get a job or really anywhere. It could help to know how to go through a process like that.